Hello, gem hunter. Did you know that it's possible to figure out what kinds of gems might be hiding in your backyard just by observing the minerals in the soil? You may not notice that as time goes on, more and more natural diamonds are being discovered by people all over the world. But did you know you could be one of them? In fact, many gems are discovered this way. Some of the world's most successful prospectors use this very technique, analyzing the soil to determine what types of gemstones might be found in a particular area. Well, the thing is, if you stumbled across a rough diamond in nature, you probably wouldn't be able to recognize it. That's because rough diamonds look very different from the polished and sparkling stones we're so used to seeing. So don't be so quick to toss away that unassuming rough stone you picked up. It could be worth far more than you'd expect. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever had the chance to see a rough diamond up close? Unfortunately, most people never get to experience holding a raw diamond and observing its natural features in person. On the other hand, you've probably admired cut diamonds before, whether in a stunning piece of jewelry or in the dazzling displays at jewelry stores. But here's the thing, rough diamonds and cut diamonds are worlds apart in appearance. If you've watched our previous videos, you already know the key signs that point to the presence of diamonds in a region. But what comes next after spotting those signs? Well, if you're lucky enough to find one in nature, it's crucial to know what diamonds look like in their raw, unpolished form. To help you get started, let's break down all the possible shapes that rough diamonds can take. That way, if you do stumble across a diamond, there'll be no doubt in your mind. So pay close attention because the information in this video could literally change your financial future if you find a diamond out there. As I always say, if you've ever thought about winning the lottery, it's worth knowing that, statistically, it's easier to find a rare diamond worth millions of dollars than it is to hit the jackpot. That's right. What you just heard is true. It might sound hard to believe or like I'm exaggerating, but take a look at the giant yellow diamond now appearing on your screen. Would you believe me if I told you this incredible diamond was discovered by a little girl playing near the ruins of an abandoned mine? After finding the massive stone, she gave it to her uncle, who, unaware of its true value, sold it for an incredibly low price because it seemed too big to be a diamond. Long story short, that stunning golden diamond is now worth millions of dollars, enough to have provided the little girl with an excellent education and secured her uncle's retirement. And this isn't the only story like this. There are plenty of similar cases, and I hope you won't be the next one to let a fortune slip through your fingers. So if you're passionate about gems and diamonds, listen carefully. After watching this video, you'll see the world in a completely new way. The first thing you need to understand is that the shape of a diamond in its raw state is directly tied to its formation process. A diamond with the right shape can be extremely valuable because it determines how the gemstone will be cut and used. If you've been following our channel, you've probably already learned that diamonds form deep within the earth, in a region with the high pressure and temperature needed to crystallize carbon into diamonds. Right now, this region of the Earth's mantle is packed with diamonds of all shapes, sizes, and qualities. Unfortunately, we haven't developed the technology to mine directly from that depth. Instead, we rely on nature itself to do the heavy lifting. Supervolcanic eruptions bring some of these precious gems closer to the surface. These diamonds can range from tiny to massive, and everything in between. But why is that? The conditions of pressure and temperature in the Earth's mantle are constantly changing. Because of this variability, diamonds form in a wide variety of shapes, sizes, and even colors. And this is where things get really fascinating. This is where you'll learn to identify these unique characteristics. Every mineral in its raw form has its own distinctive crystalline structure, which reflects how the stone developed during the crystallization process. This crystalline formation is determined by the material the mineral is composed of. When it comes to diamonds, their formation takes place in a cubic pattern. This structure gets its name from the way the carbon molecules are arranged to form the diamond crystal. And here's something fascinating to think about. You probably learned in school that the graphite used in pencils is made of the same material as diamonds, carbon. But if they're made of the same element, what makes graphite so different from diamond? Why is one worth mere pennies and the other millions of dollars? The main difference isn't in their chemical composition, but in the structural arrangement of their carbon molecules. This explains why graphite is soft and fragile, while diamond is incredibly hard and durable, even though both are made of the same substance. Now that we understand this, let's talk about the most common form of diamond crystallization, the octahedron. This is the structure most often found in rough diamonds. An octahedral diamond looks like two pyramids fused together at their bases. It closely resembles the classic diamond shape, with one point facing up and the other pointing down. However, diamonds aren't the only stones with this type of crystalline structure. Other minerals, such as fluorite, can form in similar shapes, often confusing people who mistakenly think they've found a colored diamond. In case you didn't know, fluorite, it is used to produce hydrofluoric acid from which fluorine is extracted, but you'll notice that fluorite crystals are usually more dull and very soft compared to diamonds. That said, if you're lucky enough to find other crystals in nature, keep in mind that they can also indicate highly valuable gemstones. Interestingly, the octahedral crystallization form can also be found in minerals like magnetite. While these stones are much more fragile than diamonds, they're still exciting discoveries to make in the wild. This octahedral shape, often referred to as a pawn shape by prospectors, can be cut in half to create two nearly identical pieces. Octahedron rough diamonds are most commonly found in shades of brown. And interestingly, diamonds with this shape can even be found in certain regions of the United States. Take, for example, the story of Julien Navas, a Frenchman who discovered a 7.46-carat diamond at Crater of Diamonds State Park in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. So if you've ever picked up a pebble with this shape and dismissed it, you might have overlooked a golden, or rather, a diamond, opportunity. At first, identifying a diamond might seem challenging, but over time, you'll start to recognize the subtle differences and unique details that set them apart. Plus, there are several tests you can perform to identify any gemstones you come across in your area. You can learn how to do these tests by checking out our digital gemology guide, available through the first link in the description of this video. But moving on, let's talk about the next diamond shape, the round diamond. What do you think? Can a diamond actually be round? When I was just starting out and came across one for the first time, I almost didn't believe it was a diamond. In my opinion, this is one of the most intriguing diamond shapes. If you look closely, round diamonds don't have flat faces like other shapes, nor are they perfectly spherical. Instead, they're covered in tiny imperfections. This shape is typically the result of natural wear and tear over time. However, don't confuse round diamonds with the smooth white spheres some people mistakenly claim are diamonds. Diamonds are extremely hard and don't naturally roll into perfect shapes. Rough diamonds will always display small imperfections and inclusions, making them distinctly different from polished, rolled river stones, which have no connection to diamonds at all. However, don't be so quick to dismiss rolled river stones, as we mentioned in our previous video. It's important to remember that they also have value and can sometimes be sold for impressive prices. That said, it's important not to confuse them with round diamonds. Round diamonds are small, imperfect, and, as you can see, far from being perfect little spheres. Despite their irregularities, they still retain their characteristic brilliance, just like the next diamond shape we're about to discuss, the dodecahedron. I don't know about you, but some people find that name a little odd. Let us know in the comments what country you're watching from, and if you think the name sounds strange too. The dodecahedron shape tends to be flatter, often with a diamond-like appearance at the top of the stone. Take a look at this example and see for yourself. You could think of dodecahedrons as a slightly modified version of the octahedron, which is the most common diamond shape. Sometimes dodecahedrons can even resemble a slightly inflated balloon. They typically have around 12 nearly equal sides, but in some cases, they can appear semi-spherical or have anywhere from 12 to 24 faces. This crystal shape is particularly common in African diamond quarries. It's also the most popular shape among jewelers, considered a favorite for cutting. That's because dodecahedral diamonds allow for multiple stones to be cut from a single crystal, maximizing their value and potential. Cubic diamonds, on the other hand, tend to be opaque in appearance and can be found in a variety of colors, including yellow, red, green, orange, and brown. They resemble small cubes with a unique and unusual look. At first glance, you might not even think they're diamonds. Their cubic shape is incredibly rare, And because of the internal structure of these stones, they're not ideal for cutting into gems. That's why cubic diamonds are often classified as exclusive gemstones in their raw state. Imagine walking through nature and coming across a stone like this. It would look just like a tiny die. Have you ever considered how unfortunate it would be to stumble upon one of these diamonds and not even realize what you found? And here's the best part. This type of diamond doesn't even need to be cut to be worth millions. That said, in my opinion, the most striking diamond shape has to be the triangular ones, often referred to as macles. These rough diamonds are flat and translucent, featuring a triangular shape with smaller triangular patterns etched across their surface. This type of diamond is exceptionally rare and forms through a unique growth process deep within the earth. Cutting macles can be especially challenging, as it requires achieving the perfect shape while ensuring the stone has the ideal number of facets to create the signature refraction that makes diamonds so dazzling. Some of these stones are so naturally flawless that they look like they've already been cut, just like the one you see on your screen right now. Now, pay close attention. Unlike the geometric shapes we've discussed so far, which are quite distinctive, diamonds can also be found in completely irregular shapes. Some of these have been broken in nature due to random forces. Others might be as smooth as a highly polished stone. These smooth diamonds often start in a different shape, but over time, rolling through rivers, friction, and strong impacts with other stones naturally polishes them to a semi-smooth state. This is actually common with high-quality rough diamonds. They can also have a brilliance far greater than any other rough stone you might come across. Diamonds with these random shapes are often found in alluvial fans. These are areas where river gravel has accumulated over millions of years, forming small canyons or gravel beds along riverbanks. Here's a little-known secret. You can also find alluvial fans in areas that were once the beds of ancient rivers, even if those rivers dried up thousands or even millions of years ago. As the water flowed through those regions, it carried gravel, depositing it in small hills or mounds. Often you'll find subtle traces of the water that once passed through the area. So when you stumble upon pebbles, it doesn't necessarily mean they're from a current river. They might have been carried by a river that dried up long ago. Oh, and here's the best part. Our channel has 2 videos that teach you how to analyze areas like these and even perform simple tests at home to determine whether you've already found a diamond without realizing it. When it comes to irregularly shaped diamonds, identifying them requires analyzing other characteristics to make a confident identification. In fact, many diamonds found in the United States come from alluvial fans or the remnants of ancient rivers. If you can, watch this video more than once, because one thing's for sure. If you're out collecting pebbles one day and come across a large, high-quality diamond, it could feel like hitting the lottery. Many people find a beautiful, crystalline pebble and wonder if it might be a diamond. After all, not all diamonds are perfectly clear, like glass or crystal. If you're unsure or unfamiliar with how to identify these stones, I highly recommend continuing to watch our videos here on the channel. And if you're ready to take it a step further, check out the Gemology Journey for Beginners ebook while it's still available and start identifying the stones you come across in nature today. From now on, every nature walk will be a new opportunity to discover potential gemstone deposits hidden underground. To make things easier, it's important to follow a few key steps to ensure your prospecting success. The first thing you need to know is which gems are most commonly found and which of them have significant commercial value. The truth is that most of the more easily found gemstones have a lower commercial value, while the rarer stones tend to have a much higher value. These include diamonds, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, tourmalines, aquamarines, and even the extremely rare painted. However, there are also intermediate gems such as garnet, topaz, certain varieties of quartz like amethyst, and noble opal. These may not be as rare, but they still have interesting commercial value. In addition, many other gemstones, which we won't cover in this video, can be discovered using the same mineral indicators you'll learn about today. So if you find something unusual and aren't sure what it is, don't forget to check out our ebook on gemstones, which is available through the first link in the description. But, as mentioned, most other gemstones sold on the market tend to have lower value, but they're still worth exploring. To keep things simple, Let's focus on the most important gemstones for now. We can talk about others in future videos, as there are plenty of videos on this channel covering each of these stones in detail, including how to identify them and where to find them in nature. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and the algorithm will take care of recommending those videos for you. Now that you're familiar with some of the most valuable gemstones, the next step is to analyze the soil. For that, it's important to understand that you shouldn't just look at a plot of land from a distance or collect a few indicator minerals and assume you know what gemstones might be there. That approach would be far too imprecise. The best method is to closely observe the minerals present in the soil to identify which ones might be indicators of valuable gemstones. This will help you estimate the potential of your area. A very practical tip is to use a notebook to write down all the minerals you find in your region, so you can analyze them more thoroughly at home. If possible, keep physical samples for a more precise identification of the minerals. Keep in mind that finding a single indicator mineral doesn't guarantee the presence of gemstones in the area. Ideally, you want to find multiple indicators in the same region, but even a single indicator can significantly increase the chances that you're on the right track. One of the most important minerals to watch for when searching for gemstones in your area is mica. This mineral is relatively common and very easy to identify. It appears in the form of small, thin plates that easily peel off and reflect sunlight, creating a distinctive shine that makes it simple to recognize. Depending on the angle, it might even look like tiny plastic sheets or fish scales with a metallic or pearly appearance. The presence of mica can be one of the main indicators for several gemstones, including tourmaline, aquamarine, emerald, garnet, ruby, and sapphire. However, it's important to remember that mica alone doesn't guarantee the presence of these gemstones, but it is certainly a point worth paying attention to during your soil analysis. Another very important indicator mineral you should know is phlogopite. It's crucial to pay attention to this material because it closely resembles mica, but has subtle differences that make all the difference. Phlogopite comes in a variety of colors, ranging from yellowish and greenish to brownish, or, in some cases, even slightly reddish. Since it belongs to the same family as mica, it shares similar characteristics, such as its thin, flaky structure, but its distinct coloration sets it apart. The significance of identifying phlogopite lies in the fact that its presence can indicate the existence of diamonds in the area. For this reason, it's essential to learn how to recognize this mineral during your soil analyses. While finding phlogopite alone isn't a guarantee, it is an excellent starting point to guide your search for high-value gemstones. Now, when it comes to rocks, one of the most important elements to look for when searching for gemstones is pegmatite. This rock is extremely significant because many types of valuable gemstones form within it. Pegmatite is an excellent indicator of the possible presence of stones like tourmaline, aquamarine, emerald, and, in some cases, garnet and topaz. Visually, pegmatite looks quite similar to granite, the material often used for kitchen countertops. The difference lies in the grain size. While granite has small, uniform grains, pegmatite features much larger grains, sometimes up to about 3 centimeters in size. This characteristic is easy to identify when observing the rock closely. Another important distinction is that pegmatite contains a mix of various minerals, particularly quartz, mica, and feldspar. You can find pegmatite in slopes, ravines, or small hills, and in many cases, it extends over large areas, increasing your chances of finding gemstones. If you notice a significant amount of mica within the pegmatite, that's an excellent sign, as its presence further strengthens the likelihood of gemstone formation in the area. In addition to pegmatite, another key element to look out for is schist and mica schist. These rocks are quite distinctive and easy to identify. Schist, for example, has a dark color with a metallic or silvery sheen at times. It's a rock that typically crumbles and breaks apart easily. What makes it particularly significant is that, although it's one of the most common impurities in emeralds, it's also associated with the formation of tourmalines and aquamarines. So finding schist or mica schist is a good indication that the area deserves a closer examination. Another useful tip is to look for granite in the area. While granite by itself isn't enough to suggest the presence of gemstones, its combination with other minerals, like schist, can be a promising sign. In areas with granite, you might come across topaz, rubies, or garnets. And when it comes to garnets, they can be an additional clue that diamonds could also be present in the region. It's important to keep in mind that just observing the soil or the minerals on the surface isn't usually enough. You'll need to roll up your sleeves, collect samples, and carefully analyze them. This also applies to gemstones found in rivers. You can't simply glance at the water and instantly know what minerals are there. You'll need to gather gravel, sift through it, and take a closer look. In rivers, you can find various types of gemstones such as quartz, topaz, garnet, ruby, sapphire, and even diamonds. One specific mineral that deserves your attention is ilmenite. This mineral, a natural iron oxide composed of iron and titanium, has a dark metallic appearance and resembles small pieces of iron. Because of its weight, ilmenite is often referred to as iron scrap by prospectors. The presence of ilmenite in volcanic rocks can be a strong indicator of diamonds, especially when it is associated with minerals like phlogopite or garnet. This significantly increases the likelihood of discovering these valuable gems. In rivers, ilmenite is also a promising sign since it frequently appears in alluvial deposits, which are concentrations of gravel found in riverbeds. These deposits form because heavier stones like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and garnets tend to settle while the river's flow carries away lighter minerals, such as those in the quartz family. Therefore, finding ilmenite in river gravel is an excellent indicator that the area may contain garnets, rubies, sapphires, and even diamonds. Returning to the topic of rivers, topaz and smoky quartz are also stones that can be found in riverbeds. However, in these cases, there are not many clear indicators, so you will need to dive into the river and actively search for the stones. It is also worth noting that some gemstones are rarely found in rivers, such as aquamarine, tourmaline, emerald, and opal. If they do appear, they are likely to be of very poor quality. But after all this, let's imagine you've collected a bunch of cool little stones in all sorts of sizes, colors, and shapes. How are you going to identify them? Well, if you don't know much about gemstones, you can seek help from a gemologist, jeweler, or an experienced prospector. These professionals often have the knowledge needed to help you with the identification process. But if you don't know any of these professionals and don't know where to start, our digital book, Gemology Journey for Beginners, can teach you everything you need to know about gemstones. It includes simple, home-based methods for identifying them and even a mineral dictionary, which is essentially a comprehensive list of gemstones from around the world, with their unique characteristics explained in detail. This digital book was specially designed for beginners, allowing you to learn everything about diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and other gemstones. With just a few clicks, you can access it through the first link in the description of this video. By doing so, you'll not only gain valuable knowledge, but also support the continuation of this project, which has helped thousands of people on their gemology journey for free. Additionally, in the video now appearing on your screen, you can learn more about other minerals like diamonds and tourmalines. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gem Hunter.